So cute. Yeah, focus.
Good evening and welcome to the November 27th Board of Aldermen meeting. I now call the meeting to order. I would ask everyone to please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the city clerk, call roll for attendance.
Alderman Allen? Here. Alderman Francisco? Here. Alderman Hughes? Here. Alderman Kinsella?
Here.
Alderman Murphy?
Here.
Alderman Quare?
Here.
And Alderman Weedahan.
Here.
Mayor Ring is presiding, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you. And before we go to approval of minutes, just want to comment on a few things. On Thanksgiving morning, we got our turkey trot. I thought that was a huge success. I think we had well over 200 people who went and participated. And they honestly all didn't have a great time. They really did. So that was I think another one of those events of the community that was well attended and you can tell enjoyed by the folks that were there. Second, since the last Board of Aldermen meeting, Alderman Holly Even had formally resigned from and I want to thank her for her service to the community. The remainder of her term and several other offices will be up for election with candidate filing will be on December 5th for anyone interested in serving. Next, I am very happy to announce that Lieutenant Danny Wilkie, who's unanimously appointed Chief of Police for the city of Town by the board on November 13th, and has hit the ground running. Chief Wilkie began his police career following in his father's footsteps in 2005 when he joined the police force in Crystal City and served there until 2014. He joined Town Country as an officer in 2014 and rose to the rank to lieutenant in 2019. While serving as a lieutenant, Chief Wilkie has made numerous contributions to the department, including the pay plan you will hear more about during the public meeting. Family is very important to our city and our police department, and for that reason, I am pleased to recognize Chief Wilkie's wife, Kristen, and his daughters, Mallory and McKenna, and thank them for joining us this evening. I would like for them all to come forward and we'll ask Kristen to pin the chief's badge. Please join me. Also, just like to add that I think the department is in great hands. The vetting process was very thorough, and other people who had interviewed Danny Wilkie and my own interview with him was very impressed with his answers, his thoughtfulness, his humility, his love for this department, his love for his fellow officers. So I feel very strongly the department is in very good hands. Excited for him to be in this school. Congratulations. Now we'll approve the minutes, which seems sort of mundane, but I think a motion is second to approve the November 13th meeting. Any discussion or amendment? All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much.
No, sir.
Right, next, as a public hearings on the proposed 2024 budget for the city of town and country, and now to go to the public hearing open and ask the city clerk to enter exhibits.
Exhibit number 1 is affidavit of publication of notice of hearing, published in the St. Louis County on November 9th, 2023. Exhibit number 2 is typewritten notice of hearing, posted at the Municipal Center, Longview Farmhouse, the Firehouse, on the city's website, and sent via Notify Me. And exhibit number 3 is bill number 2351.
Good evening. I don't have a lot to share compared to what we presented a couple of weeks ago, but what I wanted to share was what that difference was between what was presented then and what's in the budget document, because it is different now. I needed to make an adjustment for sales tax revenue. You may recall I mentioned the fact that we have this redistribution formula that we have to after we reach a certain amount of money that we have received in the city of town and country, then that formula requires us to pay more. So I knew that I realized my number was too generous on the city side and conservative enough on the amount of money that was going to be paid back. So I made that adjustment. Unfortunately, that does impact fund balance of the general fund by about $180,000. So the number that you initially saw was less. Now it's a use of a use of fund reserves of $446,000. I also wanted to mention though, this does demonstrate though, as we've been talking about the past few years, that we're having to use our reserves, for a couple of years. And as we project out, it looks like we're going to be needing to do that in the next, well, until 2030, it's as far up as, or far out as we projected. But there really is a need for another funding source. I would say that, that property tax would be the best option because of course, it is a very stable revenue source. It wouldn't need a lot to get us where we need to be. At everybody's advanced commission meeting, there were various discussions held. Some discussion was on intensive, others on 20 years. Being a modest number is good and will help us in the long run. And concern right now is because sales is 57% of all of our revenues in the city of town and country. That is concerning to me because sales tax is such a volatile revenue source. And when you have really good times and the economy is fabulous, that's great. But in other times, bringing in community to support the city services that we need to provide to our residents. I think those are the only points I have. Any questions for me?
Just fully aware that we will go into reserves and I think we'll be supported. I don't know the exact number, but that'll be discussion of property tax. I think the recognition was in 2022 that we're going to need one. Some people have needed it then, others. Or I don't think there's anybody who was on board in 2022 who didn't think this would be inevitable. So I don't think it was never as a politician, it's never a good thing to be pushing a tax. I think the older Bush said, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and then he had a new tax, and he didn't win election. But this city needs to be fiscally solvent, and I'm confident that this board is what is necessary to say so. Alderman Weezer.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chair, I just had a question. What was the conversation for the commission to determine specifically 23 cents as opposed to just rounding to 20? Was there a reason to get to that number?
The 23 with half of the 46. The 46 was the maximum at the time.
Thank you.
I'm not sure the general public is aware of the fact that sometime long before anyone here was on the board, that was passed that the board could do that without bringing it into the general constituents. So that will be something that we'll have to be sure that, because I'm sure there'll be questions. General public, because there should be. But we'll have to be sure that we make sure they're aware of the fact that it's. Mr. Shelton, do you remember what year that was passed?
Well, no, in even years by state statute, then as long as you've approved it, and I don't know what year, because you haven't levied it for 26 years.
Right.
But as long as you at some point set a property tax rate and then just lower it to zero, you can always go back up in those even numbered years. But I don't know what year Town and Country actually approved it.
Alderman Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to acknowledge one of our Ways and Means Commission members here, Mr. Aiken. Thank you for coming. We have a very dedicated and knowledgeable Ways and Means Commission, and they get the work very seriously.
They're extremely thoughtful.
Yeah.
And are there any members of the public that are? I then declare the public hearing closed. Thank you. I do not believe there are any appointments. Joe, you have a report?
I'd like to, if you don't mind, ask Chief Wilkie just to give a brief explanation of a few key points of his new salary plan that's in the budget,
Perfect.
and then I have a brief report.
Before you continue, will you formally note for the record that you're gonna reopen the public hearing to take some additional testimony? Thanks. That you're gonna, since we closed it, we have to formally reopen it so that I can take it down as public hearing. That's the only.
I initiated this project in January. I have to say that the successful completion has been the product of working with multiple staff members across the city, department heads, commissioners, and we've completed and sent for your approval the comprehensive plan that keeps us on the leading edge in terms of marketing and recruiting both new and experienced officers. Some of the highlights of this plan is that we raised our starting salary to the level that's competitive with others in the region. This is going to help us recruit people straight out of the police academy. We also decreased the number of patrol officer longevity steps. This keeps us competitive with trends that are in our profession right now. We also created a standardized plan to attract experienced officers and now have the ability to offer a base salary commensurate with years of service. This is going to be paramount in us being able to attract veteran officers. And above all, this restructure creates a mathematical system of equity between longevity steps, ranks, and even command positions. In closing, I would just say that we're very excited for the implementation of this project, and I wish to personally thank each and every one of you and everyone involved for your input and your support during this nearly year-long process.
Chief, can I ask a quick question on recruiting seasoned officers in other departments? That, it would seem to me that perhaps I'm wrong, but sometimes if you work for like the county police department, it's a big police department, maybe you feel like you could get lost in the shuffle. There might be some officers that think, gosh, I go to this department, maybe I have more reports. I mean, I'm just wondering where you think those will come from.
I think that in the past, because of our community's reputation being as great as it is, people strive to come here. Unfortunately, over the years, other departments have caught up with us. I think by being able to bring veteran officers in who still wanted to come here and still strive to come here, obviously, finances do become a factor. But now that we are in a place where we can become competitive again and also offer these salaries for these officers, I think that's the driving factor. As I've said many times, this is a place where you retire from. Police officers know that, and they want to get here, and this has given us an opportunity to recruit them, market them again.
Thank you. Does anybody have that?
A lot of times work that is taken to put this together, and I think it addresses a lot of the concern that I've created, and I think it'll set us up for the future. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Chief.
So now the public hearing is formally closed.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I just want to make the board aware, we were just notified that Central County Dispatch is capping the increase this year based on tentative on board approval at 5%. Our actual assessed value went up 8%. So the 5% cap is a good thing. And we actually discussed with them prior to our contract setting a cap, and they didn't want to. So I'm going to be requesting at your December meeting that the board suspend your agenda rules and have 2 readings so we can approve an amended agreement to cap our increase with Central County Dispatch at 5%. Again, it's a good thing. It'll save us maybe $12,000, we estimate, but because your assessed values went up 8 or a little bit more, we're going to want to cap it at 5, which is a good thing. So just to give you a heads up.
At this point, I would like to recognize the board's opportunity to provide reports. Alderman Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Speaking of the Parks and Recreation area, Town and Country Roads thanks our sponsor, Get Center Counseling, for their support of a very successful Thanksgiving Day turkey trot. We also appreciate the greater contributions from Principia for their work on race prizes. We had a total of 231 registrations for the event. Now we pivot to the inaugural Town and Country Winter Market. Thank you to Alderman Francisco for being a driving force in the development of that one as well. That will be held on Saturday, December 2nd from noon to 6 at Town Square. The event will feature shopping, music, lighting of our festive newly planted tree, food and more. I encourage all city residents to attend this event. It's going to be spectacular. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, bill number 23-49. Lisa Ann, without objection, the city clerk read the bill second.
Bill number 2349 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a permanent outdoor game court located at 15 Brookwood Road in the city of Town and Country.
Representative, Mr. President.
Austin Helpers, city manager.
Thank you. Any discussion? As the city clerk, roll call.
Alderman Weisinger. Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes. Alderman Schwer. And Alderman Francisco. The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4595. Bill number 2350 is an ordinance accepting the bid and authorizing an agreement with Land Design for construction services associated with the Longview Farm Park Playground project.
Thank you. I had talked to the Wednesday and then Mr. Shelton, and we get the final cost to the city. Do we have those numbers so that we know?
I'd like to ask Ms. Nixon to address that, please.
Thank you.
Certainly. So the contract that you are approving is approving a maximum of $119,331. And then including the 10% contingency, the total is $160,260.
And that is
the maximum that the board is authorizing through this agreement.
And it's a 80-20 match.
80-20 match, correct? Yes.
Thank you.
Alderman Guzan.
Thank you. Because I had, we spoke with Sheldon about the timeline of the playground. Is it still projected for spring, summer, or to be installed?
Part of the importance of signing this agreement now is to get on our contractor's schedule for the first possible project, so as early as we can, so if that's February, we'll get started, but as soon as the first weather allows, so spring is the answer.
I guess the concern that I have is obviously, during kind of business time of year, is there any way to add or after summer? Is that?
I'm trying to extend it past summer, just do it in the fall.
Yeah, even small or given an indication. This board would be really nice and what, what the timeline would be as far as soon as it could be.
February, they're saying that their schedule is available for February.
And what was the goal? Yeah, right. So I'm
We expect 6 to 8 weeks from construction or from demolition all the way through final. The equipment is local, it's made in Missouri, so we won't have the same lead time as we had for Dreesburg.
so, all right, makes sense. Yeah,
I can start February. Basis.
yeah.
That's the city clerk or roll call.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Francisco. Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella. Alderman Schwer. Alderman Allen.
Aye.
And Alderman Buchan. The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4596.
First one is bill number 23-51. Objection to the city clerk reading the bill.
Bill number 2351 is an ordinance approving the budget and authorizing budgeted expenditures for the budget year beginning January 1, 2024.
Second. Next, bill number 23-52, and then sponsored by the board as full. Objection to the city clerk reading the bill.
Bill number 2352 is an ordinance regarding the rate of compensation of employees of the city of Town and Country and repealing ordinance number 4540.
Second. See sponsorship of the board as a whole for half of the exception of all. Not being just like I don't want her to sponsor something she has a problem with. But without objection, with the city clerk read it all first.
Bill number 2353 is an ordinance approving a deer management plan and authorizing a wildlife management service agreement between the city of Town and Country, Missouri and White Buffalo Inc. for professional deer management services.
Next is bill number 23-50. Board as a whole without objection, with the city clerk read the bill first.
Bill number 2354 is an ordinance accepting the bid and authorizing an agreement with Gershner Electric for 2024 traffic signal maintenance and repair.
Objection, the city clerk read the bill.
Bill number 2355 is an ordinance accepting the bid and authorizing an agreement with T Hill Construction for the 2024 on-call roadway maintenance program.
Six, board, without objection, the city clerk.
Bill number 2356 is an ordinance authorizing a professional services agreement with HR Green Inc. for 2024 on-call engineering services.
Great. But second reading consideration. Next bill number 2357, the board, without objection, the city clerk, read the relevant portion.
Bill number 2357 is an ordinance accepting the bid of Corvus Janitorial for 2024 custodial services at city-owned buildings and parks, and authorizing a maintenance agreement for same.
Next bill number 2358. Objection, the city clerk, read the relevant portion.
Bill number 2358 is an ordinance accepting the bid of St. Louis Select Landscaping for the 2024 grounds care program and authorizing an agreement for same.
Second. Next bill 23-59. Without objection, will the city clerk read the relevant portion.
Bill number 2359 is an ordinance adopting a revised vacation policy for all employees of the city of Town and Country.
Second. Next bill. 65. Objection, the city clerk.
Bill number 2360 is an ordinance adopting a tuition reimbursement policy for all city employees and repealing ordinance number 3875.
Specifically. Objection, city clerk.
Bill number 2361 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a master services agreement with Flock Safety for the provision of services, equipment, and network access related to flock cameras for the Town and Country Police Department.
This sometimes I miss this. Bob G. A list of where city-owned block cameras are in the city, and if we have them, which subdivisions have them. I just kind of like to have that written down, so I'm more familiar with that. Yep. I think there are roughly 10 in the city.
The city will end up, it'll be four. There's probably 20 to 22 that are either at the schools or the subdivisions. Okay, exactly. That we have access to.
Thank you. Next. Resolution number R17-23. A resolution approving an Evermore restaurant at 1032 Town and Country Crossing Drive in the Town and Country City Shopping Center. Seek a motion and second to approve. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Nays? Carried unanimously. The warrant list is in the amount of $876,742.42. Seek a motion and second to approve. Any discussion on that at all refused?
An anonymous donor came through with approximately half of the pet waste bags from the last warrant list, because the anonymous donor has other charities to give to it this year. Over him, whoever that may be. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, say aye. So I do not have other business. I will leave the board if they have. Seeking motion and second to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor, thank you.